نو می شود مدام غمی بیکران ما با رفتن 40 به 40 دختران ما. لحظه به لحظه حادثه تکرار می شود، هر بار نعش پاره در بغل مادران ما.
With the Australian HAZARA community tonight, with more members of Parliament, with the Mayor, councillors and so many community leaders, to call out this latest atrocity, this direct attack on HAZARA people in Afghanistan, who were targeted because of their ethnicity and Shia religion in Kabul, directly targeting young HAZARA women this time at an educational centre. A truly inhumane and barbaric attack. Monsters targeting school children.
Recognize HAZARA genocide. Recognize HAZARA genocide. HAZARA budan jurm nest. HAZARA budan jurm nest. HAZARA budan jurm nest. Thank you,
What is his name?
And recognize systematic attacks and the atrocities that the HAZARas are facing is not just part of the general violence in Afghanistan. There are extra layers: ethnic identity, religious affiliation, subscription to human rights, liberal values, education, that the HAZARas are suffering. To recognize the genocide of the HAZARas and to not censor their identity when they release statements, reports. People to get on Twitter, use the hashtag #StopHazaraGenocide and make your voice heard to the world. Stop HAZARA genocide.
HAZARA genocide.
Recognize. 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 HAZARA بودن. HAZARA بودن. HAZARA بودن. Thank you, HAZARA. And listening the motions of tonight, I keep getting HAZARA Mohammadi is a researcher and advisor on HAZARA in Afghanistan and a current Juris Doctor candidate at Monash University. We've got many members of the parliament here with us tonight. The members of federal parliament, members of state parliament, local council. And I do apologise, we're running a little behind the bit. Probably given you the agenda for us, but I really hope you can stay back. Those of you who do need to leave early. HAZARA people of Afghanistan are under sustained violent assault because of their ethnic identity, as you've heard from our two speakers giving context to this, these attacks, these series of attacks that date back all the way to 1890 into the chambers of decision making and policy making. We hope that you stand with us and behind us well beyond tonight, and we hope we continue this conversation. I won't name everyone, but we'll have Julian Hill MP, who's been a supporter and advocate for the community here in Dandenong in the southeast of Australia. As Julian is the federal member for Bruce, probably doesn't need a lot of introduction to the community gathered here today. Thank you, Julian. And as Julian's putting the flower down, I will maybe give you a bit of a heads up on who's next, as that process is taking a little bit of time. We will then hear from Monique, Ryan, Zoe, Daniel, up next. Stop HAZARA genocide!
Stop HAZARA genocide!
Stop HAZARA genocide!
Stop HAZARA genocide! Stop HAZARA genocide! Stop HAZARA genocide!
Thank you to the organisers, to you, Shaheen, and everyone who's organised this evening's gathering. There are no words adequate to describe the sadness and the anger that yet again we gather here in central Dandenong in the most multicultural part of Australia with the Australian HAZARA community tonight, with more members of Parliament, with the Mayor, councillors and so many community leaders, to call out this latest atrocity, this direct attack on HAZARA people in Afghanistan, who were targeted because of their ethnicity and Shia religion in Kabul, directly targeting young HAZARA women this time at an educational centre. A truly inhumane and barbaric attack. Monsters targeting school children. A total perversion of religion. I want to make a few acknowledgements. Firstly, to the people here who are with us tonight, who've lost loved ones, family and friends in the 56 people killed in this shocking attack, including a niece of an Australian, family and friends of Australians, and others who were seriously injured. We are so deeply sorry for your loss, and we stand with you in your grief and share your outrage at this attack. I'll also echo, I think on behalf of to the independent members, Zoe Daniel and Dr. Monique Ryan, thank you for travelling across Melbourne to be here with us tonight. To Lee Talamas, to other Labor candidates who I can see there. I'll also acknowledge you, General Morad, I think the first HAZARA general in the Afghan army, to Jaswinder Singh from Sikh Volunteers, and also, as was said, to other members, non-HAZARA members of the Afghan community in Australia, thank you for being here and showing solidarity and calling out what's happening to the HAZARA people. Now, last time I stood here and spoke to you at a vigil, sadly just like this some months ago, I was a member of the opposition. And I'm pleased and relieved that I now talk to you as a member of the Australian government, of the Labor government, here tonight on behalf of Minister Andrew Giles as well. He sends his apologies. I saw him today, I spoke to him this afternoon, and he's asked me to convey his message in a moment. But firstly, just a few words as your Member of Parliament. I'm so proud to represent your community. The seat of Bruce, Senate here on Dandenong, has more people born in Afghanistan than any other electorate in Australia, and I think the largest HAZARA community. A large share of the 71,000 HAZARA people, or thereabouts, who now call Australia home. Thank you for your contribution to our community, for your support for democracy, for your love of education, and for your contribution that your children make to our primary schools and schools. I met so many school captains from the Afghan and the HAZARA communities. I'm so sad and angry again at this senseless violence, and we gather tonight here in southeast Melbourne as part of a national vigil held right across Australia. But of course, while making your contribution, building your lives here in Australia, HAZARA people remain connected with the plight of other HAZARA people in Afghanistan through family and friends and community links. And an atrocity like this reverberates across the world and affects us all. Now, as a member of the government, I stand with you, as I always have, and will continue to speak up against this violence in support of compassion and generosity. Since coming to government, I have been their concerns and understandings of what we can do to provide support to those in Afghanistan, the neighbouring countries, and for those in Australia who may have loved ones in Afghanistan. The Albanese government has made a commitment to transition those who have been found to be owed bail protection or temporary protection visas. It is a broken department with thousands of staff cut across 9 years. The government did not make this mess, but we are taking responsibility to clean it up. We've already deployed 500 new visa processing staff to start clearing that back. Financial implications. I'm pleased to say that we have now settled within the government on the solution, which we're testing with the Law Council of Australia, the refugee experts and others. We'll hope to have more to say soon after the budget in just a few weeks, but please be assured this will happen as soon as possible. I understand the daily impacts for people on TPVs. The ridiculous system of travel authorisations, which I hope we can soon get rid of, and your inability to sponsor your families and visit your families, especially in Pakistan. The citizenship delays and the family visa delays are also being addressed. The Minister has deemed them formally a high priority now to clear the backlogs. I'm also pleased to say there are about 4,000 or 5,000 people left in this country who applied years ago for the visa for their husbands or their wives and their children. They were actively discriminated against by the Liberals. And the Minister has formally committed, and I'm pleased to tell everyone, that he's now reviewing Ministerial Direction 80 to get rid of this blatant discrimination that is in progress. And finally, on the humanitarian visa intake, over 220,000 people have now applied for those places, and we expect many more when all of the applications are typed in and assessed, possibly up to 300,000 people. We are, as I said, applying additional resources, 500 extra staff already into the department. And I point out that when Kabul fell over a year ago, the Liberals provided not one extra staff member to the visa processing area. Not one. The sad reality is that those forms, as you know, because you fill them out for your families, are sent in by hand and they have to be typed into the computer before we can then make the assessment across all of those applications. We are starting to make progress, and once we've inputted all those applications, then the government will be in a position to assess them against the priorities for those who've applied and have a conversation with the community and community leaders about how we then proceed. I hear the community's call for 20,000 or so more places, and I acknowledge personally the case for an increase. I also acknowledge, as community leaders have said to me, the understanding that even with additional places, not everyone will come to safety in Australia. There are simply so many people at risk, and Australia must be part of a global response working with other countries. But as I've said in the Parliament, this is my personal view that I'll keep advocating for, as a country we need to be generous in our approach, given that special history with Afghanistan. Personally, I would like to see additional places allocated with appropriate priorities for women and minorities most at risk, including, of course, the HAZARA people. None of this can or will happen quickly as you or I would like. Sadly, it's just not possible to do by next week, but more resources are being applied. The Ministry is committed to the humanitarian stream, and I'll keep speaking up for our HAZARA community and the need for Australia to be generous. We stand in solidarity, and it is up to Australia and the entire world to speak up. Only the global community can stop terrorism and stop genocide. Thank you very much.
investigate these attacks. If it doesn't do it, the UN must. I note, as has been mentioned, that advocacy groups have called for humanitarian visa processing to be expedited for refugees who've applied for asylum in Australia. I strongly support these calls for expedited processing. As a parliamentarian from a nation that was a participant in the Afghanistan conflict, we must live up to our responsibilities. Our visa system must be fixed, and we must have more places for people from Afghanistan, particularly HAZARA women and girls. I finish by offering my goodwill and my sympathy and concern to all of you for the grief, the pain, the anxiety and the worry that you're experiencing in regard to this terrible attack, but also my thoughts are with your families and your friends who are still in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Monique. As independent members, as newly elected independent members of the Federal Parliament, it is very, very, very heartening to have you here with us, but to also hear what you're going to commit and how you're going to be holding other decision makers to account. And I once again apologise that you had to push your plans back a little bit, and we deeply appreciate your staying with us and sitting in solidarity. I'd like to now invite Ms. Sandra Fernando, newly elected member of Holt, and another electorate with significant HAZARA constituents to share her statement of solidarity. We've already heard from Mr. Julian to what Labour is going to commit to.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Cassandra Fernando. For those who don't know me, I am the federal member for Holt. I look after from Hampton Park, Narre Warren South, Cranbourne, Lyndhurst and Lynbrook. I'm here today to express my heartfelt condolences to 56 HAZARA people, mostly HAZARA girls, whose lives were drastically cut short due to a horribly shameful act of terrorism. This attack on young, blossoming HAZARA students at the Khaja Higher Education Centre in Kabul is deeply saddening. It is the most recent of a long list of acts of persecution against the HAZARA people. Acts which have intensified since the Taliban's takeover a year ago. The Albanese government continues to commend these deplorable acts targeting the HAZARA community in Afghanistan. We support calls from the international community that those responsible must be brought to justice. My message to everyone here is simple. Regardless of race, gender or belief, everyone deserves to live a peaceful life. The marginalisation and discrimination of the HAZARA population must stop. I commend the evidence of several Afghan-Australian organisations for their hard work assisting Afghanistan peacefully. I extend my thoughts and prayers to the Afghan people, particularly the HAZARA community, which deserves to be free from persecution. Thank you.
Sandra, thank you Julian, thank you Monique, thank you Refugee Legal. If you are in the crowd, thank you for being here with us tonight. And Wellsprings for Women, we've got representation, and I'm sure we've got tens of other organisations as allies and supporters who have come and supported us here tonight. دوستا خواهی شده که کسایی که در پشت سر هستن اونا چیزی دیده نمیتونن. اگر کمی چند نفرای دیگه که اینجا استاد هستن در پیشروی، اگر شما پایان بشنین که پشت سر کمی که استیج مانم شود. تشکر. I would like to introduce, or I would like to ask Mahshid and her friends who have put together, created a poem of their own in an act and a performance to come up on the stage and perform for us. They are university students. They are mourning the death and tragic loss of life of their peers in Kabul. And as they're getting ready to come up on the stage, we'll chant, we'll give it a go. Stop HAZARA genocide! Lift up your placards, put your hands up in the air, say it like you mean it. Stop HAZARA genocide! Stop HAZARA genocide!
Stop HAZARA genocide!
Recognize!
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 Genocide!
Recognize!
Genocide!
HAZARA Budan! HAZARA Budan! HAZARA Budan! HAZARA Budan! Stop HAZARA genocide! Stop HAZARA genocide! Stop HAZARA genocide!
Hi everyone. Thank you all for attending tonight's vigil. I know that we're all hurting inside and that we're all here with a very heavy heart. But at times like these, it's very important that we stick together because we want to be the change that we want to see in this world. Because we must change the faith of our other HAZARA people. On behalf of my group, I've written a poem that I'd like to share. Title is, What is it to be a HAZARA? Azra budan chi ast? To be a HAZARA is to be in constant mourning.
گرفته و درونی خانه ما در غم گرفته، درونی خانه ما در غم گرفته. شفیق و مریم و صادقا جاوی بخون غلطان قلم ها کم گرفتن، بخون غلطان قلم ها کم گرفتن، غلطان قلم ها کم گرفتن.
ما چند برنامه دیگه هم داریم و از شما خواهش کنیم که همچنان که صبور هستین هنوزم باشین با ما تا آخر برنامه با ما باشین. در این بخش برنامه از جناب آقای علی مدد رضایی، یکی از بزرگان جامعه ما، دعوت میکنم که ایشان به جایگاه تشریف بیارن و بیانات خود
نو می شود مدام غم بیکران ما، با رفتن 40 به 40 دختران ما. لحظه به لحظه حادثه تکرار می شود، هر بار نعش پاره در بغل مادران ما. باز دوام فاجعه سرخ جهل و دین در خاک و خون تپیدن روشنگران ما را به این گروه قاتل فروختند. ای مرگ بر خیانت سوداگران ما. و درود و سلام روح بلند و تابناک همه شهدای مظلوم افغانستان، خاصاً شهدای اخیر کورس کاج، شهدای پنشیر اندراب. درود و سلام بر روح بلند رهبر شهید و اظهار همدردی و غم شریکی با خانواده های شهدای مظلوم کورس کاج که به جرم درس خواندن پرپر شدند. و آرزو و استدعای شفای عاجل برای همه زخمه های این و صدای مظلومیت دانش آموزان معصوم و بیگناه کورس کاج را به گوش دولت مردان استرالیا و نهادهای بین المللی برسانید و اعلان کنید: آی خانواده های شهدا، آی پدران و آی مادران شهدا، ما یک آن و یک لحظه شما را فراموش نکردیم. شما از نظر روحی و جسمی می سوزید، ولی ما هر آن و هر لحظه از نظر روحی می سوزیم و خودمان را در غم و اندوه شما سهیم و شریک می دانیم. درود و سلام به احساس پاک همه شما برادران، خواهران و اقوام دیگری که امشب شرکت کردند در این برنامه بزرگ دادخواهی. برادران تاجیک، ازبک، پشتون از هر ملیتی که در این مراسم شرکت نمودند و اظهار همدردی و غم شریکی نمودند. ما نیاز به یک چنین فضایی داریم و باید دست همدیگر را بگیریم. دردمان مشترک و دشمن
شب را گریستیم، تاریخ شاهد